Welcome to Litbit channel. Today we will see a poem A Ring to Me Bondage by Mina Assadi. Let's see the summary of the poem. In introduction part, this poem explores unconventional ideas of spirituality, happiness, love and freedom. Instead of adhering to traditional symbols and attachments, the poem finds meanings in solitude, nature and simplicity. Through various metaphors and redefinitions, the poet presents a worldview where fulfilled in achieved by embracing nature, freedom, and an individual path to containment. Redefining spirituality, nature as worship. In this part, the poet begins by rejecting prayer mats, a traditional object associated with worship and prayer. Instead, finding spirituality in 100 roads that pass through 100 gardens full of silk tassels, trees. These lines suggest that the poet does not confine their spirituality to organized religion or ritual. Instead, the 100 roads symbolize the diverse experience and personal journey that brings a sense of meaning and beauty. Nature itself becomes a temple for the poet, where the music of sparrows serves as a sacred sound, transforming a daily walk on the silky roads into the form of prayer. In this way, the poet redefines the Qibla, the symbol of direction and purpose in prayer, locating it where happiness is. This shift in focus shows that the poet's spiritual journey is not about looking towards a distant or holy place, but about connecting with personal joy and natural beauty. For the poet, happiness is found in the experience and landscape that surrounded them. Next one, solitude and non-attachment as a sources of happiness. In this topic, the poet expressed a profound sense of detachment from traditional ideas of affections and places, saying, I do not know what affection means or what can be the difference between one land and another. The poet's view of happiness lies not in relationships or attachment to specific place, but in aloneness and the desert. By defining happiness as solitude and calling the desert their home, the poet implies a sense of containment that comes from within without needing external sources of comfort or love. This preference for solitude extends to the poet's idea of love, which is paradoxically describing as something that brings sadness. The lines, whatever makes me sad, I call love, suggest that attachment brings sorrow, perhaps due to the inevitable separation that love can involve. Love is thus complex for the poet, as it implies a form of longing or loss rather than pure joy. Freedom versus confinement. In this point of view are recurring themes throughout the poem, and the poet takes a strong stance on valuing freedoms over any form of restraint. The poet says wealth in simple term. £5 note means wealth, indicating a life of minimalism that rejects materialism. For the poet, anyone who possesses a cage is a gala, implying that even the act of caging or controlling others is oppressive. The poet also views the concept of a ring as bondage, inverting the typical association of rings with love and commitment. Instead, a ring symbolizes restrictions, further emphasizing the poet's desire to remain free from attachments that could restrict personal growth and independence. In the poet view, a life of simplicity and freedom, free from societal conventions, is the one that allows true happiness. The poet's connection to nature. In this topic, nature is not only a spiritual place for the poet but also a source of identity and understanding. By calling a flower bush a village, the poet finds a community in natural elements, perhaps reflecting a sense of belonging in the simplicity of nature rather than in human. The poet sees a short walk in the garden of memories as a form of freedom and even describes any meaningless smile as joy. This outlook shows an appreciation for the small, simple pleasures of the life that exist in everyday moments. The sea became a powerful symbol as a poet looks at the sea with envy and reflects on how small the sea seems in comparison to the vastness of the ocean. The feelings of the awe for the ocean immensity suggest the poet admiration for something greater and more boundless than even the sea, perhaps symbolizing the poet's own longing for boundless freedom or unity with the larger universe. Contrasting between light and dark and day and night. In this topic, the poet consists day and night to symbolize understanding and mystery, saying, I do not know what is night, but day is what I understand well. The poet shows a comfort with clear clarity, light, and visibility rather than darkness, which might represent confusion or the unknown. This choose aligns with the poet's desire for simplicity and inner peace. They seek transparency and understanding over ambiguity. Conclusion part. In this poem, the poet redefines conventional concepts such as spirituality, happiness, love, and wealth through the lens of personal freedom, nature, and detachment from traditional symbols. The poet's rejections of prayer mats, the emphasis on solitude as happiness, and the view of the desert as a home all points to a life philosophy that value internal peace over societal expectation. By finding meanings in nature and simplicity, the poet encouraged a rethinking of traditional attachments, urging readers to embrace a life of inner containment and personal freedom. Through these reinterpretations, the poem suggests that true happiness lies not in material possession or social conventions but in a harmonious relationship with the natural world and oneself. Thank you viewers. Thanks for watching this video.